This quote from Marcus Aurelius has really helped me a lot. If only I had known. I've been studying Stoicism for the last 5 years, and I cannot imagine how much time I've wasted understanding forgiveness. Have you ever struggled with forgiveness, whether it's forgiving someone else or even yourself? Here, I will share my life-changing story that I personally experienced, which has a crazy twist that will help you understand the essence of true forgiveness. When I was in my teenage years, I held a deep-seated grudge against my father because he left us when we were young. I blamed him for everything: bullying at school, financial struggles, and my failure to finish my studies. The absence of a father figure left a void in my life that seemed impossible to fill. I watched my mother struggle to make ends meet, taking on multiple jobs just to put food on the table. The weight of our circumstances made me feel powerless and resentful. I was always depressed throughout my teenage years, feeling like I had been dealt a bad hand in life. Determined to change my focus, I turned my hatred into motivation to work harder. I was determined to show my father what he had lost, hoping he would regret his decision to leave us. I buried myself in my studies and part-time jobs, pushing myself to excel in every endeavor. To cut the story short, I was a failure. I didn't finish my studies. I became so exhausted because of my 9-to-5 job that I decided to quit my studies and proceed with business, but all my businesses failed. I went back to my old self and started blaming my dad again for my shortcomings. I was so tired already and ready to give up. I picked up my gun and stared at it. If I was going to do this, I would bring him with me. I went to his place with evil intentions. However, when I met him, I was astonished by his reaction. He didn't really care about my achievements. All he cared about was that I knew him as my dad. It was then that I realized the journey of forgiveness is not about proving oneself to those who have wronged us, but about cultivating inner strength to acquire peace. But it wasn't an immediate transformation. As I stood there, gun in hand, a flood of memories and emotions washed over me. I saw my father not as the villain I had painted him to be, but as a flawed human being, much like myself. He had made mistakes just as I had. The difference was he was now standing before me, vulnerable and willing to acknowledge his faults. I dropped the gun, feeling a strange mixture of relief and confusion. I didn't know what to do next, but I knew I couldn't go on with my plan. My father and I talked for hours that day. He told me about his own struggles, his regrets, and his hopes for the future. For the first time, we connected on a level that transcended our past grievances. In the following weeks, I found solace in the teachings of Stoicism. The philosophy helped me understand that harboring resentment only harms oneself. Marcus Aurelius's words, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury," became a guiding light. Forgiveness wasn't about letting my father off the hook. It was about freeing myself from the shackles of anger and bitterness. I began to rebuild my life with a renewed perspective. I returned to my studies with a clear mind and a focused heart. Instead of being driven by a desire to prove something to my father, I pursued my goals for my own fulfillment. My relationship with my father also slowly began to mend. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Reflecting on my journey, I realized that true forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It's about letting go of the past and embracing the present with compassion and understanding. My father's reaction had been the catalyst, but the real change came from within me. Forgiveness, I learned, is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to one's strength. It's about choosing to rise above the pain and find peace within oneself. And in doing so, we unlock the potential for true healing and growth. So if you're struggling with forgiveness, whether it's forgiving someone else or even yourself, remember this: It's not about them. It's about you. It's about finding the strength to let go and move forward. And that, more than anything, is the essence of true forgiveness. If only I have known,